Hey guys, how are you? So today we'll be talking about the money supply. We'll be mainly talking about the money supply rise and fall. There are actually three approaches to do that. And after that, we'll be look at an example that involve open market operations and commercial banks. So first of all, what is the money supply? So basically, the money supply is all the currency and other liquid instruments in a country's economy on the date measure. The money supply roughly includes both cash and deposit that can be used almost as easily as cash. So here's a graph shows the money supply. At the vertical part, we got interest rate, and at the horizontal part, we got the quantity of money. And as you can see, the money supply is a vertical line rather than upward sloping line. And this is different from the demand curve, right? So the first approach is that the central banks control monetary base. Here's a formula about that. The monetary base equals to currency plus reserves. And in terms of the reserves are the money that banks hold in their values plus their deposit at the central bank. And after that formula, we got another formula which is growth in money supply equals to money multiplier times growth in monetary base. In that case, the money multiplier would be how much money increase when the monetary base increased by $1. One thing we need to pay attention is that either money multiplier increase or the monetary base increase will result in monetary supply increase. Except that the central banks can also control the money supply through another way, which is a reserve requirement, as known as reserve ratio. So as we all know, all the commercial banks they have part of the money as deposit in their bank accounts in case of something happen. So when the central banks require the commercial banks lowering their reserve requirement, the bank can lend more money out, and they can lead to the money supply increase. The second approach is bank controls checking account and loans. So basically, banks loan money, which means that they create checking account. And people can take the currency out of the account, and it will also influence the money supply. The third approach is that the non-bank public decide if the money is held as a currency or in checking account. So basically, if the people hold most of the money in their checking account, which means that the money multiplier will be increasing. And according to the formula, we can know that when the money multiplier increase, the money supply will also increase. This has been changed in recent years since people are using credit card, debit card in transfer rather than cash only. Next, we'll be talking about the open market operation. So basically, open market operation refers to a central bank's buying or selling short-term treasures and other securities in the open market in order to influence the money supply. Here's an example. Suppose that the government central banks will purchase the $100 bonds from the commercial banks such as TD Bank. You can pause the video for a second and think about what will gonna happen. So yeah, basically the bank reserves will go up in that scenario and by $100, and the monetary base will also go up. According to the formula, we can know that when the monetary base go up, the monetary supply will also go up. And this is how open market operation works and how the commercial banks involved in that process. Another example will be when the central bank sells $100 bonds to the individuals, what will gonna happen? You can also pause the video for a second and think about that. So yes, the individuals will have less money in their checking account when the central bank sells 100 bonds to the individuals, and in that case, the bank will lowering the bank reserves, and the monetary base will also go down. And according to formula, we can know that when the monetary base go down, the monetary supplies will also go down. And at the same time, when the bank reserves is lowering, the commercial banks are not willing to lend money out, and this will also impact their money supply. In the end, thanks for listening and patience, and I hope you have a good day.